Strap yourselves in because this is one hell of a wake-up call, people. I mean, seriously, are we watching the downfall of a whole damn city unfold before our eyes? San Francisco, the shining beacon of the West, is teetering on the edge of the abyss. I never thought I'd live to see the day when homelessness and drugs would bring an entire city to its knees. This ain't the land of dreams. It's turning into a playground for anarchists. You want to talk about absurdity? Let's talk about the ludicrous cost of rent. You practically have to sell your soul to afford a closet-sized apartment with a view of a dumpster fire. And speaking of fires, small businesses? Yeah, they're being scorched out of existence. These entrepreneurs are fighting tooth and nail just to keep their doors open. And what do they get in return? A city that's too busy handing out needles to care about the people who are the backbone of its economy. But wait, hold on to your hats, folks, because here's the kicker. The government's attempts to fix this hot mess, they're about as effective as using a Band-Aid to fix a sinking ship. You've got leaders who can't see beyond their own egos, who are more concerned with political posturing than actually rolling up their sleeves and tackling the issues head-on. And let's not forget the historic luxury store owner who just unleashed a cry for help that could level a skyscraper. This isn't some anonymous rant, this is a gut punch from someone who's had enough. The tyranny of the minority, you better believe it. The actions of a few are choking the life out of a city that used to be a symbol of innovation and progress.
Wade Rose runs a group that represents some of the city's biggest tenants, companies like Google, Uber, and Gap, that paid sky-high rents during the boom. But then the pandemic arrived, and with it, working from home.
90% collapse in office utilization is just unprecedented in a major urban city in America.
COVID? Oh yeah, that's playing its part too. Advising people to ditch their offices might have sounded good on paper, but guess what? The fallout is hitting us like a freight train. And what's the city's response? Let the homeless set up camp on the sidewalks, throw open the doors to illegal drug distribution, let harassment run rampant, and turn the streets into a canvas for defilement. But here's the real kicker, the pièce de résistance. San Franciscans deserve better. Damn right they do. They deserve a city that's not a breeding ground for despair, a city that doesn't treat its residents like collateral damage in a never-ending cycle of negligence.
The state of California has spent more than $20 billion on housing for the homeless since 2020. So why do public encampments continue to grow? Progressives in the city of San Francisco are learning the hard way that government can build more shelter, but that doesn't mean the homeless will use that shelter. The city released data last week showing that 55% of homeless individuals rejected shelter when offered it. Alicia Finley has been looking into those numbers. Alicia, why won't homeless people offered housing use it?
Well, for one, because they actually come to the city because of the open access to and easy access to drugs. The mayor of London Breed, San Francisco mayor, has actually said as much, that 90% of the homeless on the streets are actually from other areas.
Rebuilding this city is going to take more than slapping on some fresh paint. It's going to take a whole damn overhaul, starting right at the top. Let's get one thing straight. Failing to enforce the law is a slap in the face to the very foundation of this nation. We're talking about the Constitution here, the document that's supposed to ensure justice and security for all. When those in power shrug off their duty to keep the peace, it's a betrayal of everything this country stands for. And it damn well should result in their heads rolling. If they can't do their job, they shouldn't have the job. But the degradation of this once beautiful city? Oh, that's a symphony of failure orchestrated by the politicians who are supposed to be leading the charge. You've got the governor, the mayor, and the whole circus of elected officials who keep peddling these policies that are sending San Francisco into a death spiral. They're not just missing the mark. They're aiming for oblivion and hitting it dead on. Let's be real, folks. These leaders were elected by the majority of voters. Yeah, the same people who are witnessing their city crumble into a hellscape. It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck, and these voters are letting it happen. So maybe, just maybe, it's time to realize that you can't keep electing the same people and expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity, and I'm pretty damn sure we're way past that point. And don't even get me started on the drug situation. I mean, seriously, How many times do we have to watch this disastrous experiment before we admit that it's an absolute train wreck? Open drug use, distributing needles like they're candy and letting addiction run rampant. It's like a bad joke with no punchline. San Francisco is turning into a playground for junkies, and it's the residents who are paying the price for this sick joke. And hey, here's a fun fact for you. More than 3/4 of voters are saying that this city is heading down the wrong track. You don't need a PhD in statistics to know that's a massive vote of no confidence. It's a clear-as-day sign that people are sick and tired of the circus that's been running this town into the ground. So, San Francisco, you've got a choice to make. Do you want to be a cautionary tale, a city that other places look at and say, let's not go down that road? Or do you want to rise from the ashes, kick out the clowns who are running the show, and rebuild a city that's worth its weight in gold? The clock's ticking, and the whole damn world is watching.
More money, more problems. That's how they do things in California. They see a problem, they throw money at it. That's it. Nothing changes. So, are you homeless? Here's a monthly allowance. Are you trans? I'll double it. Need to shoot heroin in a public bathroom? Let's build you a $2 million toilet. But nothing comes close to reparations, and the San Francisco Reparations Committee got a whiff of the spending, and now is demanding $5 million to every black resident. $5 million in a city and state that never had slavery, ever. And the people are singing for it.
But it's no mystery, just check the history. I've been working on some cases that involve a lot of conspiracy. Ooh, what's going down in this town? The black population is going down.
I'd sing for $5 million.
Seriously, people, strap in for a wild ride, because we're about to dissect some of the most mind-numbingly absurd moves San Francisco's leadership has pulled off. First things first, let's talk about this so-called woke move that's got everyone scratching their heads. $5 million for every black resident? Are you kidding me? Did they pluck that number out of thin air? I mean, how the hell did they even come up with that figure? And where, oh where, is the budget for this grandiose handout coming from? Last time I checked, money doesn't grow on trees unless they've got some secret money orchard hidden somewhere. Now, before you start pointing fingers, let me be crystal clear. I'm all for helping those in need. But this reeks of a desperate attempt to keep the masses quiet, to dangle a shiny distraction in front of their faces while the city crumbles around them. It's like handing out ice cream to a kid who just saw their house burn down. Yeah, it might make them momentarily happy, but it ain't solving the damn problem. And speaking of problems, it's like San Francisco has decided it wants to be its own version of a bankruptcy parade. The decisions being made are so short-sighted, so devoid of any logical thinking that you have to wonder if they're intentionally trying to tank the city. I mean, what's next? Handing out free unicorns to fix traffic congestion? Oh, and don't even get me started on student loan forgiveness. This whole situation reeks of déjà vu. Remember that proposal that's all sunshine and rainbows, promising to wipe away student loans like they're fairy dust? Yeah, it's a lot like that. It'll get challenged, shot down according to legal standards, and leave everyone wondering why they even bothered in the first place. But let's not forget the real root of this mess, the voters. Yeah, the same people who keep electing these leaders who've clearly lost their way. It's like watching a horror movie where the characters keep making the dumbest decisions possible, and you're just screaming at the screen, why? So, here's the bottom line, folks. San Francisco isn't just battling a leadership crisis, it's battling an epidemic of common sense deficiency. It's like they're playing a dangerous game of chicken with their own destruction. And it's the residents who are caught in the crossfire. So here's a reality check for the city. Wake the hell up. It's time to stop the madness, ditch the absurdities, and start rebuilding with some actual brain power before it's too late. Because if this ship goes down, it's taking everyone down with it. And I, for one, am not going down without a fight. All right, listeners, if you're fired up after that reality check, it's time to channel that energy into something meaningful. We can't just sit back and watch our cities crumble while the people in charge play a game of political charades. It's time for action. And action starts with us, right here, right now. We can't let our voices be drowned out by the chaos. We can't let the absurdity become the new normal. It's time to demand accountability, to demand leadership that actually has a clue about what's best for the people they serve. So, whether you're in San Francisco or anywhere else around the world, don't just be a spectator. Get involved, stay informed, and make your voice heard. Share this video to other like-minded individuals, start conversations, and challenge the status quo. Because we're not just passengers on this crazy train, we're the conductors who can steer it in the right direction. And speaking of steering, if you're looking for more hard-hitting discussions and unfiltered takes, make sure to check out Red Alert on YouTube. It's a no-nonsense channel where we dive deep into the issues that matter, where we're not afraid to call out the absurdity and demand better. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and join the fight to keep our cities from falling into the abyss. Remember, it's not enough to be outraged. We've got to turn that outrage into action. This is again Red Alert, signing off and reminding you that the world needs a wake-up call. Let's make some noise.